Hi, wonderful students. Today we're working on week 28's warm-up review. And so this was Monday's warm-up, and we're going to go over how I would solve the problems and see if you solved them differently, maybe, and got the wrong answer. You can start solving them the way I'm solving them, or maybe you solved them correctly and you have another way, and that's okay too, okay? So for question number 1, we have the problem 3x squared plus 5x when x equals 3. So the first thing that you should remember is that when you see this phrase, it's telling you substitute. Okay? So every time I see the x, I'm gonna substitute in a 3. So let's rewrite our problem and substitute in our 3. So I've got 3. Remember when it says 3x, it's really 3 times x. So I'm going to put 3. And the x would have been squared, so the 3 is squared. Plus 5. And again, I have that x, so I'll put this one in parentheses. And I'm sorry, it's not an x anymore, it's a 3. See how I almost messed up? All right, now I'm going to follow order of operations. So order of operations says that you should do parentheses first. But when I look at my parentheses, I just have a single number in there. There's nothing to do to it, so I'm just going to pass on by. The next step would be exponents. So now I'm going to go to my exponent right here, and when I look at 3 squared, that's the same thing as saying 3 times 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. Now when I do that, I remember to pull the rest of the problem down with me. That way I don't forget anything later on. Every time I work in my problem, I bring everything down with me, okay? Order of operations now says that I multiply and divide from left to right. I do have multiplication here. So 3 times 9 is 27. And then 5 times 3 is 15. So now I just add my addition sign. And then my last step is add or subtract from left to right. I have some addition here. And when I add 27 to 15, I get 42. So that's my answer. Alrighty, guys. Next problem. Number 2. It says Ashley drew a shape with coordinates -5, 0, 4, -3, and 4, 3. What is the area? So this is a problem that if this was on the EOG, the first thing you should do is pull out your graph paper, okay? So just so I have a little bit of working room, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write my coordinates down. I have -5, 0. I have 4, -3. And I have 4, 3. That way I can just put my paper here. Now when I see 3 coordinates and I'm told it's a shape, I am going to have to automatically assume it must be a triangle. And so before I forget that the reason why I'm going to plot this triangle is so that I can find the area, I'm going to go ahead and write that formula down too, so it's a reminder on my paper. So remember, the area equals base times height divided by 2. So now I have to remember to come back and get that area, okay? Now I'm going to draw my coordinate plane, and I don't need a very big one. I just need one that'll cover 5 digits. And this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this would be -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. And when I go up, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I go down, it's -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. All right, now I'm going to graph the numbers, graph my coordinates. I'll use a different color pen for that. So, -5 0. Remember, the first number is always on my x-axis. So I need to go to my origin, and I need to go to -5. And so I'm going to do that by going all the way here. And then my second coordinate is 0. So that means I'm not leaving it. I'm staying here. Okay? Next, 4, -3. 4, -3. So now I'm going to the origin, and I'm going to count over 4 and then -3. So there's my second point. And my last one is 4, 3. Again, I'm starting at my origin, I'm coming over to the +4, and I'm going up to +3. Okay, so now I could actually connect my lines and see my shape. Okay. Now remember, we never use a slant when we're figuring out our area for a triangle, right? So first I need to find the base, and the base is pretty easy to find. I can find it by turning my paper and seeing that this is a flat, this is a slant, and this is a slant, so I definitely can't use those. But this is a straight flat line, so I can use that as my base. So now I can either do one of two things. I can count how many lines. Remember, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 6 over here for my formula. Or I could also say, well, this is at -3, and this is at +3, and then do my absolute values. The absolute value of -3 plus the absolute value of 3 equals 6, which is what I got when I counted. Okay? Now I have to get my height. And my height, remember, I never use the slant. My height is from the base of the shape all the way to the top of the shape. So this line right here is my base. Now again, I can count, not base, height. I can count. So remember, I start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 6 times 9, maybe. Let's see. All right, I have this spot is at -5. So the absolute value of -5 plus this point is 4, the absolute value of 4. So the absolute value of -5 is 5. The absolute value of 4 is 4, and that equals 9. So I am correct. It is 6 times 9, and I have to remember I'm going to divide by 2. That's not too hard so far, right? Okay, so now I have 6 times 9. You should get 54. Oops, sorry. I wrote 52. 54. And it's still going to be divided by 2. And when I divide 54 by 2, I get 27. So my area equals 27 units. But all you need to put into the computer is 27. All right? And then our final question is, what integer should be added to -5 to get 4? So this is a little tricky one, but if you think about it properly, you should be thinking about absolute value because you're trying to get from -5 to 4. So if you're trying to get from -5 to -4, you're going to use the absolute values and add them, and then you'll see the distance. All right, so absolute value of -5 is 5. The absolute value of 4 is 4, so that equals 9. Now I'm going to check my problem, okay? So if I check my problem and I fill in, I do -5 plus 9 equals 4. Well, let's check this. And if we check it, it should work out. Okay, when we add and they have different signs, we actually subtract, right? So 9 minus 5 equals 4, and then we keep the sign from the larger number, which is the 9, a positive. So it is indeed positive 4, so it checks. So that's our answer, 9. Alrighty guys, I hope that helped you understand this week's warm-up. Remember, keep working and practicing all week, and you've got to do your best on your Friday quiz so you get a great grade.